Early voting results. Vote, vote, vote. Dia de los Muertos. The Juan $1 billion PowerBall. And don't be scared of the R word. It is Halloween, October 31st, 7:17 a.m. My name is Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Now, throughout the world, uh, today being Halloween, children will be dressed in disguise as their favorite character, their favorite role model, or just something scary that they found. Another big celebration in which is embedded in the Mexican and Latin American culture is Dia de los Muertos. Dia de los Muertos is a day in which we honor honor the dead, those individuals that left this earth before us. It is a day in which we remember the lives of those that are no longer with us, our loved ones, those individuals that we care for deeply. And this day is a day in which we mourn them, we remember them, we bring them praise. Many of the cultural traditions have been individuals go to the burial site and bring food, drink, their favorite snack of the deceased. You and I can agree that we have taken part in this event. I will be going to Halloween parties. They would celebrate the evolution of this by having pictures of the loved. This is a worldwide phenomenon, and many individuals who have different traditions are very different. I would go back to the
Hello, 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 hello. That should be better. I do apologize. I do apologize. Let me know. Let me know if it's a little bit better. I appreciate y'all. Very quickly, for the past 2 3 minutes, I was talking and it was wah wah wah. It was like the Snoopy thing. Dia de los Muertos is a day in which we honor the dead. It is embedded in our Mexican culture. Um, it is a day in which is used for many individuals to go to the laying grounds, the burial sites of our loved ones. Food is taken, their favorite snack, and it is one in which we remember those individuals that are no longer with us. And being of Latin, uh, Hispanic descent, we tend to embrace this day in time, and we celebrate death. Many individuals, as you all know, we are creatures of habit, and many of us are or were at one time scared of death, but it is a part of our everyday lives. Dia de los Muertos is a day in which we honor and celebrate the dead. and we go to their burial sites and um, remember them, cherish them, talk about the good things that they have done while they were on Earth. Dia de los Muertos is set to begin today and tomorrow. It is celebrated throughout the world, November the 1st, a day in which uh, the world celebrates death and honor those individuals that are no longer with us. Now, they say that money brings happiness. Well, money is a cure for just about everything. Throughout the United States, the Powerball is getting close to $1 billion. And one thing that I always talk about with my friends is, you know what Kanye said. You know, they put them lottery tickets just to tease us. Uh, we associate we associate a lot uh, of the way we think of happiness, of that coming from money. You and I can agree that what we have seen throughout time is money doesn't really bring happiness, and we see this in celebrities, we see this in movie stars, where we think that they have the picture perfect life. They got all the cars, they got beautiful women, but then you hear about them consuming too much alcohol, them abusing drugs. Many individuals, unfortunately, uh, commit suicide because they're not happy. They still have some void. Many of us associate money with happiness. And while we can agree that money doesn't cure everything, many individuals will say, well, I got a million reasons. Million things to do that will make me happy. Will you be buying your lottery ticket now that the Powerball is $1 billion? There are jobs that put together a collection, and they try their best to win it big as a group. And we've heard of those crazy stories where some employers they buy large amounts of tickets, and sometimes they do hit. Very rare, but they do. You'll be buying your lottery ticket this for this upcoming Powerball. Again, $1 billion. That could go. That could go a long, long way, if you ask me. Now, currently, right now, we are at the start of early voting. Last week, we were at the public library holding up signs encouraging our friends and family to come out and vote. This is the start. Today is the start of the second week of early voting. We have the numbers here, and we see how the public library was the place where many individuals, the large majority of the voters, did go and vote. We saw how the numbers came out strong at the start of the week, close to 1,500, 1,400, 1,100, 1,000, 1,900 on a Saturday, which was very, very impressive. And Sunday, the polls were open from 8 in the morning to 8 p.m. And there were 300 people that did go out and vote. Now, again, the importance of us voting is paramount. It's very, very important. And again, we do have this week, starting today, Halloween, all the way up until Friday, with Election Day being on Tuesday. And again, we encourage our friends and family to take part in this electoral process. We have very, very important races throughout the city. Uh, who could forget BISD having a budget of $500 million, and the current board members, they have mismanaged that money. And while they did give a salary increase to its employees, what they forgot to mention uh, and tell the world was that their insurance is going up and their taxes are going up. So essentially, that raise in salary is technically a wash. We need individuals there that are going to adhere to the needs and wants of our employees, of our children. And who better to do that than former educators with 30, 40 years experience? They know what it's like for the teachers, for the staff, for the employees. They know what they go through. Also, we have a former board member on that board running for school board that would be beneficial to the community. At the county level, we have had great mismanagement as well, and it seems as if every government entity that we have throughout the city, we can all talk about mismanagement. We just talked about the mismanagement at BISD, having a budget of over $500 million, and still with that amount of money, you would think that they would be able to avoid raising taxes, but they did just that. And the only answer that we could think of why they raise taxes was because of mismanagement. Same thing at the county level. There are many things that are going on at the county. For one thing, the defunding of the police at the sheriff's office. That is paramount because that goes to the safety and well-being of the county. If we do not provide the sheriff's department with the resources, tools, with the positions available, they cannot perform their duties and keep us safe. Another thing that we have been very vocal about has been that during the pandemic, many individuals suffered great economic hardship and still continue to do so. Many of us, are still struggling. What happened during this time when nobody was hiring, when nobody was giving raises, or our county judges, they themselves, I'm sorry, our county judge and commissioners court, they themselves voted to give themselves a raise. Now, I ask you, during the pandemic, who was giving out raises? Nobody, ladies and gentlemen. But these individuals uh, saw it that it'd be best for them to get a raise. Again, do people run for public service because they want to get rich or because they want to serve the constituents of our area? I think we all know the answer to that. So, again, for the school district, we encourage our friends and family to consider candidates that are going to adhere to the needs and wants of the community, the teachers, the staff, and most importantly, the students. At the county level, we need individuals that are going to be asking those tough questions. During the PUB fiasco, not one county commissioner made a peep. We need individuals on the Cameron County Commissioners Court that are going to be our champion. Now, growing up in South Texas, there is something that you're not supposed to say. You're not supposed to talk about. And growing up, I figured out very quickly that there are, and this is something that is known, but there are certain things that you don't discuss with an individual if you don't want to have an argument with, want to have a discussion. You don't talk about religion. You don't talk about politics, and you don't ask a person how much they make. Those are the three big things in life, right? If you don't want to argue with somebody, don't talk about religion, and don't talk about politics. One thing that has been bothering me as of late has been this notion that we're scared of the R word. Here in South Texas, for the most part, and this is something that we've been talking about, um, day in and day out, has been if you're a Mexican, you're supposed to vote Democrat. And this has been embedded into our heads for as far as I can remember. Being in South Texas, we have seen how the Democrats have reigned supreme here in South Texas. Many state representatives, senators have used their position, our positions, on on the, on these seats, not to enrich the lives or provide a better quality of life for you and I, but for total opposite reasons. We have seen how individuals have come and gone, and what we have seen throughout that time is that they themselves, their businesses, have grown, their wealth have accumulated in one of the poorest areas in the nation. One thing that I want to convey to my community is that we need to be selfish with our vote. For far too long, individuals um, have used us for their own self enrichment. And the thing that bothers me is that we never question, we never ask these individuals, well, what did you do for me? It's like that relationship. We both want to have an individual that is going to support us, empower us, going to give us the tools, ammunition needed for us to live a better life. Today, the feature story that I want to convey to my community is don't be scared of the R word. Let's be selfish. Let's be selfish with our vote. One thing that really changed the whole landscape of South Texas was Mayra Flores. Mayra Flores did flip a Rio Grande Valley seat, and she is the first Latina in the state of Texas, in South Texas, to win a congressional seat. And the importance of this was because she is a Republican. And one thing that I can say is that individuals, once Mayra Flores won in the special election in June, individuals shortly thereafter were uh, proud of being a Republican. They were proud to say one of ours won. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, before you and I can agree that if you tell somebody that you're a Republican, oh my God, you got the cooties. It was as if you had the leprosy back in the Bible times. It's as if you had HIV during the 90s. It was one of these things where you were like segregated. And again, if you do not want to have a discussion, you don't want to have an argument with somebody, don't talk about politics. Don't say that you're a Republican, because then individuals will shy you away. The special election race of Mayra Flores really did show that individuals here in South Texas want change. Again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Here in South Texas, for far too long, we have had individuals, Democrats in power, that have not brought us a better quality of life. We continue to be stagnant in our area. It is important for us to recognize the role that this Congresswoman has in South Texas moving forward. Let's talk about those individuals that have had power in our area and have abused it for far too long. We have had a district attorney who was charged with bribery in a scheme that shook um, the halls um, of Cameron County and really showed us what we were dealing with on a bigger picture. We have a district attorney that was arrested and charged. We have an attorney, a very prominent attorney out of Port Isabel, that was involved with a judge and with this district attorney. And it really showed us that these individuals were using their position to enrich themselves. Again, were they doing a service to the community? Absolutely not. We have Judge Abel Limas, who turned his courtroom into a money making operation. He was sentenced to 6 years. Jim Rosenthal, he got 47 years. He was a former representative in our area, and he got 47 months. Now, what I'm going to add is that what we have seen has been that these Democrats, they've used their position to enrich themselves while the community, while the community is left stagnant. Who can forget about the BISD board member as well? As of recent, she was charged and convicted for a bribery scheme. You and I can agree that it seems about just about everyone that has been elected to these positions have been Democrats, and these individuals that have come into question. One thing that we find is the common factor has been a Democrat, and they have not done anything to benefit us. Again, what can we say about the Democrats in our area? Have they provided jobs? And one thing that bothers me is that I have a bachelor's, master's. Shortly after I received my master's, I couldn't get a job here in the Rio Grande Valley. I had to get a job out of Kansas. Now, such is life, as we all know. But one would think that there would be opportunities in our area, that there would be um, resources available for myself, for your loved ones, for future generations. Because again, one would think that when one goes to public service, the idea is to provide a better quality of life for future generations. Do we have jobs in our area? Do we have opportunity here? My brothers as well. My brothers had to leave to Midland and Tennessee and Ohio. There is no opportunity here in our local area. But one thing that we do see here is politicians getting fat, politicians sucking in the tit, politicians using boards and committees, elected positions to get rich, to benefit from it. Now, where are these jobs? Where are these resources available? And again, while they get rich, we stay dumb. Bronzo has been named one of the poorest areas in all the nation. And again, you would think, okay, we don't have jobs, but at least our education is thriving down here. Well, it's sad to report that we're still one of the poorest areas. Not only don't we have jobs, but we're also the poorest areas in the nation. Now, again, what am I going at? I'm going at that individuals that have controlled here in South Texas have been Democrats. The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting different results. We are in the midst of early voting, and individuals, Democrats on the ballot, want to keep us dumb. They want to keep us poor. They want to keep us without jobs. Now, you might say, Frankie, that was the old regime. But again, do we have time to give them 4 more years? Give the Democrats 4 more years? What have they done here in South Texas? Many individuals talk about Maida, and what we seen how the congresswoman, what she has faced. She has faced backlash. She has faced discrimination because she's a woman. They've called her names such as frijolera, things like that. These are the tactics that Vicente Gonzalez and his camp are focusing on. Is this what you want out of your candidate? One that wants to um, belittle a woman, belittle a Mexicana nonetheless, one of our own, demean her and say she has no right? The reason why Mayra Flores won the election, ladies and gentlemen, was because South Texas wants change. Look at this. We're tired of our county judge during a difficult time in the flood in the Harlingen, La Feria, Santa Rosa, Santa Maria area. This guy went over there and he said, do you want a bitch? Do you want a bitch? Do you want to help? Or do you want a bitch? This is a time, ladies and gentlemen, where individuals lost their livelihoods. They lost their livestock. They lost their homes. Going through something like this is very um, devastating. And here you have a judge who's entitled, who doesn't have to deal with this, who lives in a beautiful home in the city of Brownsville. He tells these poor people living out there, do you want to bitch or do you want to do something about it? This is what we have to deal with. And as of late, what we're dealing with and what we have seen has been that individuals have used their position, our position, to enrich themselves. One of the biggest key topics that we keep on hearing about is PUB. PUB, as of late, has been an ongoing issue. And the more that unravels, the more that we hear about the dealings of these individuals have been that they have double dipped, that they have used their position for their own enrichment. We have Eddie Trevino, who has received campaign galore, campaign donations from different vendors, and this isn't just focusing on Eddie Trevino, ladies and gentlemen. This is focusing on the whole Democratic Party. Again, they use their position, our position, to enrich themselves. Again, I ask my community, are we tired of this? Are we tired of this self dealing? We seem to be the ATM machine for these politicians. And I ask you, what is the common factor among all these? And we talked about individuals who served as state reps, as district attorneys, as judges, as attorneys. What have we noticed from this? The common factor has been the common factor has been that they're all Democrats. I encourage my friends and family to consider other candidates. And I know what you're saying, Frankie. I'm a diehard Democrat. Uh, I choose candidate over party. Um, we need to be selfish with our vote. For those individuals that say, I'm diehard blue and I'm going to vote blue, that's not the right way to go. Again, if I was your finance guy, and you brought me a book and said, Frankie, work this book, make sure that you there is a surplus of resources on that book. You give me the book with full confidence. I get that book. You come back to me sometime later and say, what did you do with my money? Well, I kind of spent it. I used it to give myself a raise because I felt like I was doing a lot of work. So I needed this money for myself. But pretty much is gone. Yeah, it's gone. You would think, Frankie, but the role, your purpose was to make more, to pass it out, to spread the wealth. Well, no, that's not how it works. I'm supposed to take care of me first. What would you think? Frankie, you're fired. Same thing with these politicians. We should be selfish with our vote and ask them, what have you done with my money? What have you done with my resources? What have you done for my community? These politicians, ladies and gentlemen, they're so quick to give us a plate of chicken just to shut us up. While their return of investment, ROI, the return of investment for those $7 chicken plates is hundreds, thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in contracts, in contracts for them or for their friends. Don't be scared of voting your conscience. Again, for those individuals, and I love the loyalty for those individuals that say, I'm a diehard Democrat. I'm a diehard Democrat. But again, what have the Democrats done in our area? Can you name something in which they have done to provide a better quality of life? Or, as we can all agree, and as we showed previously, these individuals have used their position to enrich themselves while we stay poor, while we are one of the least educated in all the nation. I encourage my friends and family to consider the Republican Party. And again, I am not voting based on party. I'm voting based on candidate across the board for the Democratic Party. We need to get rid of the incumbents, ladies and gentlemen. What have they done for our area? Absolutely nothing. But they themselves have gotten rich. They themselves and their friends have benefited from this position. I encourage my friends and family to not vote any incumbent in office. Think outside the box. What have Democrats done for our area? They've kept us poor while they have gotten rich. Do not be scared to vote your conscience. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. I apologize for that mic issue. Again, technology, man. I'm always trying to perfect it, but it's always one thing or the other. Early vote results, vote, vote, vote. We will be at the public library. I do have an event at 12:30, 12 to 4. So I will be at the public library early. Honk if you're happy if you see me. Dia de los Muertos, it is a day in which will be celebrated tomorrow, a day in the Mexican Latin American culture where we celebrate the lives of those individuals that are no longer with us. Dia de los Muertos is a day where we take food, drinks, snacks to our loved ones to try and connect, celebrate their lives. Will you be taking part in this event? The $1 billion Powerball. I feel as if, again, how Kanye said it, they put these lottery tickets just to tease us. Money is not the key to happiness. What we have seen from celebrities, movie stars, rock stars, they have all the money in the world, beautiful family, beautiful kids, but something's always missing. They either turn out to be drug addicts, they abuse alcohol. Happiness is having a warm, loving family. To me, growing up, I always thought it was living in a white picket fence with a German Shepherd and having that picture. Whatever your happiness is, I can tell you that it's not money. And again, I can think of a billion reasons that you will tell me, Frankie. I'll be happy with $1 billion. And don't be scared of the R word. Today we are at the start of early voting for the second week. I encourage my friends and family to vote candidate, vote your conscience. What have the Democratic Party done for our area? We are one of the least educated. We are the poorest areas in the nation. What we have seen, on the contrary, is that these individuals, they have gotten rich uh, off our backs, off the taxpayers' backs. I encourage my friends and family to vote Republican. I did vote for two different candidates that are not Republican for the Attorney General's office. Rochelle Garza, she is from Brownsville, and also Jaime Diaz for Railroad Commissioner. He ran as a libertarian. Vote your conscience, ladies and gentlemen. You do not have to vote Democrat just because we are simply Mexican, Hispanic. Vote your conscience. Vote for the person that you think will be your champion, that will fight for you. Where were these incumbents whenever PUB was screwing you over? Where were these incumbents when the sheriff department was being defunded? CEO is what BISD needs. Caballero Elizondo Ortiz, Cameron County needs Cascos and Castro, And for District 34, we need Congresswoman Mayra Flores. Uh, and that, my friends, is the rest of the story. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. It is Halloween, October 31st, 7:47 a.m. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Hope to see you here on Wednesday. Go vote. If you pass by the library, honk if you're happy.